Hello again, time for new game. We are still covering the Morelia-Linares tournament of 2008. Anand won, Magnus second. Today we will look at the game here between Carlsen and Topalov. Magnus going for c4. As Magnus can play all the four, there are four opening moves in chess: e4, d4, c4 and knight f3. So Magnus can play all those four opening moves. So this time, and that's good because he could like choose what would be bad, what he think is bad for the opponent. So for some, I don't know why he plays c4, because Topalov is an active player, so he will of course try to play e5 and going for the, then it becomes like Sicilian with colors reversed here. So let's see what happens. But maybe Magnus thinks that's fine. And now he does quite an interesting thing, I think. He goes for e4 here. Then it becomes, as you know, Magnus' main weapon when it's black is the Sveshnikov. And if white had his pawn on d2, it would have been the Sveshnikov variation. This one, white has an extra tempo, but he cannot bring his bishop out to b5. That means that black does not have to go knight b4, which he has to do in the Sveshnikov, because as you know, a3 and the knight is getting very bad on a6. So instead, Topalov goes for knight b6, and it becomes a bit like the knight of variation, where white has one tempo more, but this knight is actually misplaced. Often in the knight of variation, this knight like it should go to d2, because it just doesn't have so many it doesn't have many prospects. One way that it can get some prospect is if white tries a3, black does a5, and then it can go here, or you can maybe go here and try to trade it off. So let's see how Magnus handles it. So he does a4 instead. I don't know if that's a good move. Usually you want the pawn here on a3, so it's probably not the recommended move here, but let's see. Actually it's a common move. I thought maybe a3 and then b4 would be more common, but I guess it's because, you know, Magnus plays it, so everyone copies him. So here of course some move like a5, for example, could be interesting, but I guess that would have been Magnus' plan to put the knight here. Topalov played bishop e6, bishop e3. Little bit surprising. I thought maybe now when he has the chance to maybe push the pawn all the way to a6, but let's see here. And Topalov retreats before he has to. That doesn't really look right, but computer likes it, so what do I know? Okay, so now white can try to equalize here with d4, so it's just a little bit better for black. So it looks quite equal. Maybe like black's opening advantage in the Sicilian is kind of gone now, so it's quite an even game when white can play d4 and break like this in the Sicilian. Quite interesting. Magnus doesn't want to trade queens, and that's it's typical Magnus. Try to keep peace on the board, try to win even if you're playing a former world champion. Like, no, maybe it's not. Maybe he will become world champion soon. I don't remember really, but as you can see, Topalov is 50 points high rated at least. Also a little bit weird, but of course, yeah. If he moves the rook to d1, then of course black takes here, so has to go here, but it doesn't really look right to put a rook here, but let's see what happens. Magnus doesn't find anything better than to go back. Yeah, it looks better to play like the computer suggests, maybe queen h4 and maybe try. So now this pawn is gone. I still kind of like to maybe push it, but it doesn't work tactically now for some reason. Yeah, this rook is actually in trouble here. It's getting trapped. So yeah. So here, you see that rook is kind of trapped, but Magnus, if you should lose the rook, you should have obviously not go for one of these, but you should go for this bishop. If black takes, you get a very dangerous attack here. So black wisely does not take it, which I think is it must be the correct decision. And he plays here to cover it, but still this is. Computer doesn't think it's so bad for white, but still like a healthy extra pawn for black. Black is breaking with f6, the computer likes that. And computer likes f5. f5 is a nice move. As we will see, there will be big problems for black what happened in the game. Maybe an alternative, according to the computer, is to play something like this. Actually, he thinks white should take. You have to take back its mate on h7. And then not this one, but this one. Interesting. Okay. So the computer thinks this endgame is a draw. Yeah. Black pawns are weak. Should probably be a draw here. Let's see what happened. So this is obviously Magnus' plan. He wants to play f6. And this knight is good here now. It covers this square, so black cannot check white. Yeah, it's a complicated position here, but obviously because this strong construction here, if black has to do something like this, obviously white has good play for 2 pawns. So it's typical Magnus. Computer doesn't realize how good white's play is, but Magnus has seen it from afar. So black tries to win a piece here by playing c4 and then take, but then Magnus wins back here. So take, and now apparently black makes a losing move here, which white doesn't see, but he makes a losing move again. So let's see, best for black would be this one, and after this one what's happening in figures here? Okay, he can go here, yeah, because it covers this one, yeah, that's correct. So something like this. Yeah, this construction is worth a pawn, but apparently white cannot win it. Looks kinda scary for black to play like this, but we have to trust the computer. So now white was winning by playing here. Okay, so he must go here. And then queen d8. Obviously threatening some kind of check here. Computer say black's move is best move, bishop c2. Yeah, this doesn't threaten so much. Black is just running away. So they say, computer say here. Yeah, even with the computer, it's hard to understand why this is winning for white. But we have to trust the computer that this was winning. But if I can't understand it even with the computer, it's not so strange that the players didn't find it. So he took here, and he went here, and it's after the next mode it says that it's forced checkmate. So black had to play, he had to go back. Something like this would have been a draw, going back and forth here. So let's see how the checkmate is. Yeah, it's mating 7 now apparently. Here. Yeah, and I guess Topalov must have missed this maneuver. It's quite easily that it's checkmate here now. So, yeah, okay. So that was quite an interesting game. Magnus was, of course, a bit lucky here, but he created this f5 here. He made it also hard for black here with this f5. It was a good move, I think. So he put pressure on black's position with this attacking construction. Remember, it reminds me a little bit of Modern Benany, where white often goes forward, and when black takes like that, you go forward and just sacrifice a pawn. But it's not really the same. But yeah, okay. So see you next video.